Namaste yogis and lovers of wellness, and welcome back to the Yogi Blair YouTube channel. If you're new here, I've had a bit of a spike in subscribers over the last couple of days. I want to welcome you here. If you have subscribed already, I thank you so much. If you stumbled across this video and you are not subscribed to my channel, my name is Vanessa Blair Ferris. I'm a certified registered yoga instructor, and it is my passion to share yoga and wellness with anybody that needs it, but especially those healing from trauma. And I think for all of us over the last few weeks have been experiencing some traumatic events. So I hope that these are relatable to all of you. And I hope that my videos are just a way for all of you to kind of escape what's going on right now and just take a few moments to find some enjoyment. If you are not subscribed and you support this mission and this cause of mine to share these videos with people that are suffering or getting through some things, I hope that you consider subscribing to my channel. It means a lot to me, especially during these uncertain times. I always link my email below. If you need somebody to talk to, if you have questions yourself that you hope that I answer in future videos, please feel free to ask questions, send requests, anything that you guys would like. I release a yoga video every Friday, and I do these wellness videos every Monday, and they're just different off-the-wall things. Sometimes we talk about makeup and skincare, sometimes we answer questions that you guys might have about yoga and wellness, and so on and so forth. And lately, I have been doing a 5:30 YouTube Live every Wednesday to help you guys kind of get through this time. We can all get together, do some yoga together, some meditation. So if you are interested in that, subscribe. Email me. I'm on TikTok at yogi.blair. I am on Instagram at yogi.blair. You can find me on Facebook, Vanessa Blair Ferris. I am doing a lot on all of my platforms right now that involve yoga and wellness to help you guys get through these things. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So before we get started today, I just wanted to kind of check in with you guys and see how you all are doing during all of this. I know it has been crazy, and I know for a lot of us, this is something that we have not ever dealt with before. And for a lot of us, we are not used to this much isolation, and it can just be a really uncertain, anxiety-inducing time, a very traumatic time. And I've kind of just been checking in with everybody when I go live, when I check in with people or do classes, with the conference apps that I've been using for the yoga studios that I work with. And I've just been asking everybody how you're doing. This is something that we are not used to. And I know there are a lot of people that are not used to feeling this isolated, and it is a struggle. And I want you guys to know that I feel it. I am here for you. I really miss the classes that I am used to teaching throughout the week. And I am lucky to be home with my husband and my dog and have people to interact with. And that's not something that everybody else has the luxury of doing. I am getting used to filming videos with my husband still in the house, which you guys know is something that I've always been a little insecure about. But he's always been so supportive of this. He's always been just there and willing to help in any way that he can. He's offered to film videos with me. He's offered to do all these things for me, to hopefully when the weather gets a little warmer, maybe even film some videos outside, of course, keeping our social distancing. But yeah, he's just been super supportive. He made me a cup of tea before getting started. So we've really been blessed to have some extra time together. Obviously, we would prefer to have it under different circumstances, but we have been lucky enough to be with each other during this time. So today we're answering some subscribers' questions. I had subscribers, followers on Instagram and TikTok, friends, family ask me questions over the last couple of weeks so that I could put together this video for you guys. So if you want more videos like this where I can answer your questions, please feel free to email me your questions. My student, Julie, and she asked, what is your favorite brand of yoga gear? And Julie and I have discussed this in person before, and I also she requested the video that I uploaded last Monday where I rated all of my yoga pants. She wanted to know what my favorites were, what my thoughts were on aloe yoga versus fabletics. And so I put together that video for her and for the rest of you. So I will go ahead and link that below as well. I really hate inserting the cards at the top of the screen because they never really go exactly where you want them to go, and it's really hard to kind of get them right in the perfect spot. So I'll just link everything below from now on if I can. So Julie is answered with a video. That video I was torn between fabletics and aloe, and if you want to know my thoughts on which one performs better or which one I like better, you can check out that video. Julia, one of my students at Trilogy Wellness Studio, took a class of mine and asked me how to properly strengthen the arms to have better form when you do chaturanga. And I know that you all might have already seen, but I uploaded a video a couple of months ago, maybe, or a month ago, on how to strengthen for chaturanga. Any exercise where you're strengthening your arms and especially your shoulders is going to help a lot with that. In that video, I do a couple of examples of exercises that are going to help you. Dolphin is a good one, dolphin planks, regular planks, anything where you're building that strength in this entire area of the chest, the shoulders, the triceps, the biceps is going to help you. You also want to make sure that you have strong wrists too, because you are using your hands to keep you up. Just like with a plank or anything else, you want to make sure that you have that flexibility and that range of motion so that you don't cause any damage. So make sure that your wrists are stretched, roll the wrists, do some wrist stretches, placing your hands on the ground, fingers facing down, fingers facing up, and just get that stretch in the wrist and in the forearm too. Strengthen the shoulders in any way that you can, and before you know it, you're going to be doing chaturangas. What you want to do if you can't lower in one piece in your chaturanga is you want to make sure to modify by lowering the knees until you build that strength so that you don't hurt yourself. My friend Melissa actually sent me a text a couple of weeks ago when all of this kind of started and asked me what videos of mine are good for beginners. And I will go ahead and link some videos below that I think are going to be the most beneficial if you're not sure about terms. If you guys want me to do a series on yoga for beginners, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to maybe put out a series in the weeks ahead and get that filmed for you guys right now while I have the extra time. But I think if you are familiar with my videos, I think that any of my videos are customizable. And you all know that I try to provide modifications as much as possible, especially in my group classes where I can see what's going on. There's a little bit of a disadvantage with not being able to see you and not being able to see what you might prefer to change or adjust. But know that any of my videos you are capable of doing. And if you know modifications or if you know what you need to do to adjust things, you're welcome to participate in any video. I am trying to add more modifications to these videos where I'm not looking at you guys so that anybody can participate in any of these videos. And I hope to just add more over the next few weeks while I'm doing all of these live things, adding some videos for beginners as well. But just know that if you are a beginner, you can take any yoga class. My first yoga class ever was a power yoga class. And I'm not saying that that's what you should do if that makes you uncomfortable, but if you know where you want to go, if you know what you want to accomplish with a class, you can start anywhere and you should be able to modify and adjust. Check out classes that are labeled in the description as all levels. If they're all levels, that teacher is going to be comfortable giving modifications and giving adjustments to people that might want them. I wouldn't go to a class that is labeled as specifically for advanced or whatever, but other than that, you should be okay. And at least you have the luxury now in your home of practicing yoga where you're in your home, nobody's watching you. If you stumble through a few things, that's okay. You're gonna learn as you go. The best way to practice yoga is to get into it and just stumble through it a couple times. And as your muscles memorize what they're doing, that muscle memory kicks in, and before you know it, you'll be a pro. I had a TikTok follower ask me, Her handle is at creamy yogurt, which kind of grosses me out, but it's okay, girl. It's fine. You do you. She asked, have you ever tried Dollar Tree skincare? And if so, what do you think about it? And I have not tried Dollar Tree skincare, but I'm not just going to leave it at that because I told her that I would answer this in a video, and I'm not just going to answer it with no. I did look up some of their products, and I did check ingredients lists to see if this is something that I could ever potentially use. And I have a couple notes here. I looked up, they have a foaming acne scrub, which I checked the ingredients and it sounds awful. I would not use it, and I wouldn't suggest that anybody use it. I can't use acne medication face washes at all anymore because after being on Accutane, I don't need them. And the ingredients are too harsh for my skin, which is now rosacea prone because Accutane made me super sensitive. This one I wouldn't recommend even to people with acne. Let me see what ingredients we have here. I think it had salicylic acid in it, which is fine. It did have a very high concentration, so it could be sensitizing, but it had walnut shell powder in it, which we all know by now, walnut scrubs are not the best option for exfoliating your skin. Scrubs are not ideal for the face. There are some that are made that are super gentle, that are okay, but for a lot of us, physical exfoliants on the face are just too harsh and can cause micro tears in the skin, which bacteria can then get into, and you can just have more harm than good done to your skin. If I used a walnut scrub on my skin right now, it would fall off. It's way too sensitive, way too abrasive. That's something that you could maybe get away with using on your body if you want to exfoliate your feet or your legs before you shave, but this just was a no for me. I looked up a couple other products. They had makeup wipes, and I don't like that companies are still putting out makeup wipes. I know that some people love them, and I know that some people use them as a pre-cleanse before you wash your face, which is how I used to use them. But they really don't remove makeup. A lot of times they just move it around on your face, and your cleanser still has to work too hard to get your makeup off, and then you're still left with having too much makeup on your skin when you're done washing your face. Your best bet is to do a double cleanse with an oil cleanser and then use your face wash if you're trying to remove makeup. Makeup wipes are okay if you need to get makeup off of the back of your hand, if you're a makeup artist, or you need to maybe quickly clean a brush, but I don't even know how sanitary that is because you need to kill germs when you're cleaning makeup brushes, and I don't know that they would do that. So my thing is just stay away from them. And they're wasteful. They are not an environmentally friendly option. So I'm a no-go on makeup wipes, and I don't think I really even looked at the ingredients because I just saw makeup wipes and was like, They had a charcoal cleanser that had salicylic acid, and number one, I just feel like activated charcoal cleansers are more hype than anything else. They're not really proven to do much, and that's not to say that anything with charcoal in it is garbage. I know that there are some things that might actually be beneficial for, but there's really no evidence right now in a lot of these cleansers that are being put out that there's really anything in them that does anything that's good for the skin. That's not to say that activated charcoal isn't a good ingredient. I don't know a lot about it. I know I have an activated charcoal toothpaste, but I just don't know enough about the ingredient to make an assessment, I guess. I stay away from it as far as face goes because I don't know what it would do to my hypersensitive skin. But also that cleanser, that charcoal cleanser had salicylic acid, and again, I think it was in a pretty high concentration, and it also had menthol in it, which is super sensitizing. So if you use that cleanser and you've noticed some sensitivity, I would maybe switch to another cleanser because menthol is known to trigger rosacea, and it's meant to give that tingling sensation. So my guess is that they put it in there because they wanted you to think that the activated charcoal was causing a tingling sensation, but it's really the menthol. So that's just my thought. Not a fan. There was one thing They had a hyaluronic acid serum, which I read the ingredients and it seemed pretty good. Hyaluronic acid was actually pretty high in the ingredient list, which I thought was nice because a lot of times when you buy skincare, there are brands that will advertise these great ingredients, but then they're in the less than 1% category of the ingredient list. So I thought that it was great. The ingredients seemed fine. It's something that I would consider using in a pinch if I didn't have what I already use. My friend Sue had told me a couple weeks ago, she sent me a text and said, tell me about Accutane because she's considering going on it as well. And let me give you the tea on Accutane. Oh, that's good. I mixed 2 different kinds of tea. I have the Hardy & Sons Hot Cinnamon Spice, which I never normally leave my tea bags in my cup after it's done steeping, but with this one, I always do because it gets super spicy and super yummy. I also steeped the traditional medicinals, echinacea plus elderberry tea in here for some added benefits. So, and they're not bad. Anyway, now that I've had my tea, let me give you the tea on Accutane. Accutane was a crazy experience, and I'll link below my skincare journey series. I talked a lot about it. I honestly, that was filmed so long ago that I probably could stand to update it and maybe do another one, which might be something that I do this summer. We'll see. But it is there, and there is a lot of information in it. If you want to check it out, I'll link it. But Accutane was not an easy process, and I know a lot of people that haven't been on it or maybe had an easier experience on it might think differently, but for me it was very hard. I stuck with it because for me clear skin was the only thing that I wanted, and I was willing to go through the pain that I was in to get it, which goes to show how skin conditions can really truly affect somebody mentally, because I was in a lot of physical pain, not just like, oh, my skin's dry, I'm annoyed, I can't wax my eyebrows, woe is me. It was a literal physical musculoskeletal pain that I was in for, it started about a month in. So for 5 months, I was in constant agony, and it wasn't just like a little dull ache. Some people, their pain is not that bad on it. They report a little bit of muscle pain or whatever, but for me, it was excruciating. I was constantly miserable and constantly in tears because of it. And I think that the reason being is that I am super sensitive to all medications. I can't even take Benadryl without having a hangover from it for like a day or 2 after. So I was super sensitive to the medication, and my body responds in a way that is almost more elevated than most people. I have hypersensitive skin. My skin reacts in a dramatic way to everything. My body reacts in a dramatic way to everything, and I react in a dramatic way to pretty much everything. It's just who I am as a person. I'm very sensitive, not just mentally, but physically as well. And so that's why I've gone off of a lot of medications, and the only thing that I take right now is birth control. That's the only prescription that I take as a pill. And I also have my prescription Metrogel for my rosacea, but that is pretty mild and doesn't really seem to affect me. And the birth control that I'm on doesn't really seem to bother me too much. And then I take vitamins. That's all I take. I used to be on anti-anxiety medications, antidepressants. I used to be on muscle relaxers for my fibromyalgia, and my body couldn't handle it. So I chose to go off of those things after so many years. But Accutane was hard to stick with. It was not easy. It was very painful. To me, the dry skin wasn't so bad. I used a skincare regimen the entire time. I made sure to use moisturizers. It was still dry, and it wasn't something that I was used to, but honestly, I was so oily that I kind of welcomed that dry skin for a while. Now I kind of wish that I had a tiny bit more oil production, but I'm pretty much on the normal side as far as my skin goes. I'm not super dry unless it's winter, and I'm never super oily. I'm pretty much hovering in that normal side unless I'm not taking good care of my skin, and then it'll get a little dry. But Accutane I was on it for 6 months, and the other symptoms were fine. I had a couple nosebleeds. I had some eczema on the back of my hands because I took too hot of showers, and I know I did, and I was not willing to give it up. My lips were very chapped. I had multiple chapsticks that I used down to the last little bit. We all know that when you buy a chapstick, a lot of times it expires or gets gross before you can even use the whole thing. Like this one, I've had this since the summer, and there's still plenty left. If I were still on Accutane, this would be down to the very end of the tube. I've never used an entire tube of chapstick before, and I did multiple times while on Accutane. You can't not have chapstick on. I actually had a chapstick in my bathroom that I would take in the shower with me, because when I was done washing my face, I couldn't even finish my shower without being insanely uncomfortable and needing to reapply chapstick. So it was a nuisance, but again, not something that I wasn't willing to put up with. So that's a bit of my experience. If you want to check out the whole thing, check the link below. My friend Maggie, who owns Trilogy Wellness, her boyfriend Charlie asked a funny question that I wanted to include on here. He asked me if my handle, Yogi Blair, which is my Instagram handle, and eventually what I went into for yoga because it just all melted together and was easy. He asked if that was a play on Yogi Bear. And a lot of people were like, no, but it is. I remember when I started doing yoga and I thought of that handle because my maiden name was Blair. I've now changed that to my second middle name. And yes, it was a play on Yogi Bear because it was easy to remember. It made you relate it to something so that people would remember me. And also my dog Kiki, which you've seen in many videos already, her nickname is Boo Boo. So it was Yogi Blair and Boo Boo, which I thought was cute and funny, and again, a play on Yogi Bear. So a bit quicker of a video today once I finish editing all the things that I'm stumbling over because I'm nervous that my husband's downstairs listening to me. I just have a couple of quick things to mention. I know I said quickly before, but if you've made it to the end, let me give you more details. I have a Zoom account where I am hosting live classes a couple times a week that are donation based. You do not have to pay in order to participate. They are free to anybody that is struggling right now, that maybe isn't working. I want to provide you with that. If you have the means to every week, if you have the means and you want to donate a couple dollars, you're welcome to. I include my Venmo account in all the posts that I post on Instagram and Facebook and yada, yada, yada. But it is not required. It kind of changes throughout the week depending on where the studios need me to teach their conference classes, but I post weekly still to Instagram and Facebook my schedule. So if you want to check that out, make sure that you follow me on those platforms. I go live on Instagram for little free things. I go live on Facebook for absolutely free classes. My class Wednesdays at 5:30 on here is absolutely free right now. And then I teach with 2 studios, and if you are a member there, you can take those classes, but you can also pay the drop-in fee and participate in those as well. I have all that information on my social media, and I'll link everything below and kind of where it is so that you can participate if you need to. One final thing, my student Julie, who asked about the yoga pants, has been making these eye pillows, and she sells them at the studio that she attends, and she hand makes them. They have organic lavender and rice in them, and she sews them herself, and they are super nice. I know there's a lot of stress right now, and lavender is a very calming aroma, and these are great for your at-home yoga practice, for Shavasana. They're also great for if you have a headache, if you're not feeling well, if you pull a muscle in your neck, or you're feeling super anxious and your neck and shoulders are tight, you can freeze this or put it in the microwave and do a little bit of hot or cold therapy. She also makes them unscented if you are sensitive to lavender. And while we can't bring these to you right now, we can send them. If you want one shipped to you, they are $10. About half of that goes to the shipping. She only really collects $5 for these, and she donates everything that she brings in to breast cancer research, which is absolutely amazing. So you can email me if you have an inquiry about these, and we will get the logistics worked out for you to get your hands on one. And that is all I have for you today, guys. I hope that you all can get through this. We can get through it together. I know we can. It's all going to blow over eventually. This is not permanent. We can get through this together, and I hope that you guys stick around. I hope that I can help you in some way, and I hope that you all live happy, live free, live well. Namaste.